Hi, my name is David Santillanes, and I'm 30 years old. I'm from Pomona, California, but I currently live here in beautiful San Diego. I really need Project Runway to help me make my dreams come true. I work really hard. I work two jobs. I work full time as a Halloween costume designer. I work part time for Michael Kors as a stylist, and then I also freelance for clients in LA. And I also manage my own entrepreneurship, House of Davisanti. The reason I work so hard is because I don't come from a wealthy family. I don't come from anyone with power, anyone who's in the industry. So I work really hard because I'm passionate about what I do. And I believe that work hard with the right passion and the right creativity can lead you to great things. I've been drawing since I was old enough to hold a crayon in my hand. You could even ask my parents. I, as a kid, drew on every surface you can think of. Walls, TV screens, tabletops, anything was my canvas. And I didn't really start gaining interest in fashion until I was in high school. And I was really into music, and I still am. It's actually my therapy. But I started making a connection between how people performed and what they wore and how it changed or actually created their look and established them as an icon. And I loved that sort of nonverbal communication that fashion creates, especially in costume, because it's telling the story of a person, of a character, a time and place. And so that's when I started really honing in on my craft and studying runway shows, studying artists and musicians, looking through fashion magazines, studying runway photos. And one of my biggest inspirations is actually Adriana Lima. She's my muse. I think she's gorgeous, obviously, but there's more than just what she looks like. It's the kind of presence she has, and obviously she makes a killer statement on the Victoria's Secret fashion show Runway. My favorite designer is Alexander McQueen, and not just because his work is so unapologetically creative and so out there, but it's also because there's a sense of melancholy in his designs that sort of communicate a romantic nostalgia. They're very severe and yet very soft and feminine at the same time. And I think that that's one of the greatest things a designer can achieve, is juxtaposition in their work and have it translate into something that's beautiful, finding beauty in something that people would consider ugly. I started the House of Davisanti back in 2015 when a very good friend of mine and a photographer I work with a lot asked me to create a design that would anchor the theme of his art show that he was curating. That was the first opportunity I had to let my creativity run wild, because I wasn't designing something for my boss, I wasn't designing something for a client. So this was the time for me to really get crazy, and there was no budget, so I could do whatever I wanted, and it was very, very liberating for me. And once I got a taste of how liberating that could be, to not let your creativity be hindered by the resources of mass production or the Halloween industry or the demands of a client, I decided that this is where I wanted my career to go. One of my greatest achievements as a designer was actually last year. I got hired for the Maxim Hot 100 party, and I was their featured designer. And so it was really, really cool to see all these celebrities walk in and be in awe of my work and want to take pictures with my models and ask who's the designer. And that was one of the greatest achievements for me in my career thus far. My goal as a designer is to ultimately have my own atelier where I can cater to models, clients, celebrities, and I want to do fashion just as much as I want to do costume design. But the reason costume design is so much more creative is because when you're creating a costume, it's not something that has to be marketable. It's not something that has to appeal to a demographic. It's not something that has to be the right season, the right color. It just has to tell the story. And that's what I really love doing, is telling a story with just creating a look. One of the reasons I'm applying for Project Runway is because my good friend and very talented jazz musician, Sylvia Brooks, has been pushing me to do this from the day we met and started working together about 8 years ago. She was actually the first person to ever give me my first freelance job. I styled and designed some looks for her publicity photo shoot, and she has believed in me all these years, and she keeps pushing me to do this, and I finally feel ready as a creative and as a professional to basically enter the Fashion Olympic Games. There's a lot of people in my life who go out of their way and donate their time, their expertise, their technical skills, and their creativity and their beauty because they believe in me so much without expecting anything in return. I've had so much help from photographers, models, seamstresses, pattern makers, so many people who see my work and just offer to help without expecting anything in return because they genuinely believe in my talent and my creativity and my ability to succeed. And that's why I really feel like I'm the perfect fit for Project Runway. One of the biggest challenges I have faced in being an entrepreneur is sacrificing a lot of time with my friends and family. When you work a 40-hour job and a part-time job on the weekends, and then you freelance in the evenings for clients in LA, and then you spend all the other free time you have working on your own work, it just doesn't leave very much time for friends, family, anything really, even for me. And so it's been hard to sometimes stay motivated and stay even positive, but I keep pushing myself because there are so many people who believe in me and in my work, and those are the people who keep pushing me to keep going. And the bottom line is that life is short, and that's never been more real to me than when a good friend of mine passed away. He was only 30 years old, and that was a definite eye-opener for me because I never expected to lose anyone that close to me at such a young age. So that's why I'm here now, and I'm hoping to get on this show and by the end of the year be at New York Fashion Week showing you what I've got. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's giving you an insight as to who I am and why I'm doing this and why I should be on the show. Namaste.